Just 3 months to go, everybody. 3 months and we'll finally get our hands on Death Stranding on November 8th and maybe find out what this game's all about, what the gameplay entails, what the narrative entails. I mean, who knows? This game's still a giant enigma, which I personally love. I love that we don't know that much about it going into it, except that it's probably going to be kind of interesting. But one thing that's kind of been in the back of people's minds is what platform this game is coming out on. The general consensus seems to be that it's a PS4 exclusive. For a lot of people, that seems to be pretty obvious, given the circumstances surrounding Death Stranding and its development history. But there's been a lot of talk about this game possibly coming to PC as well. And in fact, this is a rumor that's been circulating for a while because Kojima himself said something to that effect when he first announced his new studio, when he announced that he's working on this new game. He did say that it might, or he rather confirmed that it's coming out on PC, but then that kind of petered out. They never talked about PC again. A lot of people wondered maybe it is a PS4 exclusive after all, but now rumors have sort of cropped up again in regards to which platform this game's coming out on. So the following information came to light due to this user reporting on it, Vestin, on Reset Era. So this is a whole kind of checklist of things that clearly indicate this game is no longer a PS4 exclusive. And the first thing he pointed out was the PlayStation 4 official website and how there's a page here that essentially lists all of the exclusives for this platform. And, you know, all the usual suspects are here: Spider-Man, Horizon, God of War, Days Gone, you name it, it's all here. But then when you scroll down to the full list, so right here you can see that this is how the website looked like back in May 26, 2019. If we rewind time to back then, you can see that Death Stranding right here is indeed listed as one of the PlayStation 4 exclusives. It's clear as day. And furthermore, a Reddit user noticed that if you go to the PlayStation Store, you will be able to find Death Stranding listed on this selection here that only lists titles that are only on PlayStation. So at that point, a lot of people seem to think, okay, so it's confirmed. It is not coming to PC. But as it turns out, well, if you look at this website now, this website showing the PlayStation exclusives, you will now find that if you look in the D section, right here, Death Stranding is no longer listed. This is what the website looks like now, and this is what it looked like back in May 2019. Death Stranding is here, right below Dead Nation, and now, right below Dead Nation, there is no Death Stranding. It's been removed from the list of exclusives. So that by itself seems to be pretty clear confirmation that Death Stranding isn't in fact exclusive. And to further highlight this point, there's actually this interview, this Q&A that Kojima did all the way back in 2015 when he first announced the new Kojima Productions. And in this official Q&A you can read, quote, "What other platforms will Kojima's first independent title be available on besides PS4? And then Kojima responded, "The title is planned to become available on PC after PS4. So the fact that it says after PS4 suggests that there's going to be kind of a timed exclusivity before the game comes out on PC. Though when asked how long this exclusivity is for, Kojima said that that's something they're not disclosing right now. This is a detail that they haven't sort of nailed down, or they have nailed it down, but it's not something that they were willing to talk about all the way back in December 2015. And then beyond that, Kojima was asked if Kojima's second title and beyond, so games after Death Stranding, if those will be PlayStation exclusive or not. And Kojima responded, "We announced an agreement regarding Kojima's first title, and SCE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, cannot comment on titles beyond that." Indeed, Kojima Productions is an independent studio. So in this same Q&A, it was brought up that, quote, "I heard that SCE has signed an agreement with Kojima Productions, a studio newly formed by Hideo Kojima. What are the specifics of the agreement? Kojima Productions has agreed to develop its first software title as a console exclusive to PS4. We do not disclose further details. So it's not just a PS4 exclusive, it's a console exclusive. So it's not coming out on Xbox, but PC isn't really a console, so there's more indication there. And then finally, the third question reads, does this mean Kojima Productions now belongs under Sony Interactive Entertainment? And he said, no, it is an independent studio, which is very important to note. The main point to get across, though, is that there was indeed confirmation that this title, Death Stranding, will become available on PC sometime after PS4. Now, interestingly, after that Q&A segment went live, after that was officially published, Sony decided to delete it. As PC Gamer reported, the Q&A and the tweet linking to it have since been deleted. I have a suspicion that Sony may have preferred all eyes on PlayStation. So it would seem as though the announcement that the game's coming out on PC after PS4, that this isn't going to be 100% exclusive to PS4, I think that announcement was made prematurely. And so Sony decided to remove that Q&A in order to put all eyes on PlayStation to ensure that a lot of people sort of will want to get this game on PlayStation, because the more copies of Death Stranding Sony sells for their platform, the more money they get to make. So, that makes sense from a business standpoint. So this is something that I think they wanted to keep under wraps until the very last minute, but that didn't pan out. From day one, it has been confirmed that the game will be out on PC. At the same time, though, over the years, there have been some doubts about whether the game is actually coming to PC, because it was mentioned once in that Q&A and then never brought up again. And then we learned that Death Stranding is going to use the Desma game engine. It's not using some third-party engine like Unreal or whatever. Sony handed them this engine, which belongs to Guerrilla, and Guerrilla is a Sony studio. So at that point, a lot of people thought there's no way this game's coming out on PC, because Death Stranding is using so much of Sony's technology, Sony's tools. They're getting so much help from Sony that a lot of people speculated the PC announcement was a fluke, that maybe that's not really a thing that's happening, that this is going to be a PS4 exclusive. So, if you look up some of the things people have been saying between 2016 and 2017, lots of questions about, so is this game coming exclusively to PS4, or is it also coming to PC? Nobody seemed to really know for sure. And on Reddit, some people noticed, for example, that in one of the trailers, it says in development for the PlayStation 4 system, and it does not list anything in terms of PC release. So that caused further confusion. This seemed to insinuate that it is going to be a PS4 exclusive. But with Death Stranding no longer listed as an exclusive officially, I think it's pretty clear-cut right there. I should also point out that one of the reasons Kojima signed up with Sony was because after the whole experience with Konami, he wanted to work with a partner that wouldn't tie him down and restrict him too much contractually and all these different things. And so I think they struck a really good deal that Kojima was really satisfied with. And so I think Kojima owns Death Stranding, even if Sony helped develop it. And with Sony, the advantage they get is that timed exclusivity and more copies being sold on their platform, and their platform getting all that attention. And plus, when Kojima got the Desma game engine, when he and Guerrilla began to develop that, the way that began was that Guerrilla handed Kojima the engine on a USB stick with no strings attached. That's what Kojima said. So even though the game was developed using Guerrilla's engine, which is a Sony studio, because there's no strings attached, perhaps the fact that Death Stranding was made using Desma isn't such a constraining factor after all in terms of whether this game can be released on PC contractually and all that. Not to mention that another major factor that goes to show what's really going on here is that they recently revealed the PlayStation 4 box art for Death Stranding, and what's absent from there is a label that reads only on PlayStation. That's usually there for PlayStation exclusives. So when Kojima revealed this and there was no such label, That immediately raised a lot of eyebrows. So if you look at God of War's box art, only on PlayStation, and indeed, this is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Horizon Zero Dawn, only on PlayStation. Same thing with Days Gone, only on PlayStation. Every title that is PS4 exclusive has this label, and yet for some reason, Death Stranding is completely missing this. So there's just confirmation after confirmation. Sony's not really talking about it, but through the absence of a label or the absence of a Death Stranding listing here, Sony's kind of low-key letting people know, I guess, that the game's not PS4 exclusive. As for how long Death Stranding will remain PS4 exclusive before it comes to PC, well, there's already some rumors on that. This information comes from an Italian journalist going by the name Antonio Fucito, who accurately leaked the release date of Death Stranding before it was announced, so there's some credibility there. And according to him, quote, in a live stream session, Fucito said that Death Stranding would be a PlayStation 4 exclusive for a set period before releasing on PC, but not Xbox. Regarding the possible length of exclusivity period, he added, I don't know if it's a 6 or 12 months exclusive. So that's sort of where we're at right now. We don't know for sure, but yeah, every sign indicates this is the course we're headed in. Now, with all of this discussion going on, there's bound to be someone who wants to compare this to the Epic Game Store stuff. You know, this is a storefront that's buying out exclusivity rights for 6 to 12 months. So I do want to say that in the case of Death Stranding, it's different because this is a project that's actually being funded by Sony. It's first party-ish in that regard. Same thing with Mario, that's funded by Nintendo, Zelda's funded by Nintendo, you know, Halo is funded by Microsoft, and Fortnite is fully funded and created by Epic. While in an ideal world, it'd be great if every game was available on every platform, in the case of first party exclusives like Mario and Last of Us and Halo and what have you. I mean, people are willing to tolerate the fact that they're exclusive because of the relationship between the developer and the publisher, where the platform holder actually greatly contributed to the existence of these games. It's a whole other thing to take a game that was, you know, already meant to release on multiple platforms and then snatch it away, and that's what Epic is doing, and there's a difference there. So a lot of people would be okay if Death Stranding was a PS4 exclusive. Like, people would understand, people would tolerate it because so much of Sony's resources went into the creation of Death Stranding. Death Stranding would not be possible without Sony. And, you know, same thing with, like, Bayonetta, like the sequel. The reason that game exists is because Nintendo decided to give the franchise a second chance and fully fund its development and stuff like that. So we're kind of in a similar territory here with Death Stranding. But, you know, we are looking at a timed exclusivity. It's going to release on PC at some point, and if you ask me, that's really great news. The more platforms a game can come out on, the better, I say. I've already seen some PlayStation fans kind of mad about this, but I don't know, to me that it doesn't make sense to be mad about a game coming out on more platforms. It's great that the game's coming out on PC, despite the fact that it would have been able to get away with just being exclusive to PS4. The more the merrier. Now, if you want to play it on launch day, you're going to have to get it on PS4 or PS4 Pro, but, you know, if you want those settings cranked up to the max, full 60 FPS or 120 FPS, however much your monitor supports, if you want all of the bells and whistles, maybe you'll want to wait for the PC version. That's cool too. So there's options now, and I think that's fantastic. Anyway, that's pretty much all the information we have on this matter. I'd love to hear what your take is on Death Stranding coming to PC, how likely it seems at this point. If you ask me, it's like 99% confirmed, even though Sony's not saying anything about it. All the indications are there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this and how you feel about Death Stranding coming to PC as well as PS4 via timed exclusivity in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update and discussion video. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.